Hello, and welcome to another episode of Thoughts of a Trillionaire. I want to talk about why I want to be a trillionaire and what that even means to me. So, last episode, I kind of talked about how it's really messed up and funny how when people, or me, talk about dreaming big, truly dreaming big, and say, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like for me, my entire childhood, I always wanted to create the first hover car. Create the first flying vehicle, mass-producible hover car. And whenever I say that, people kind of just look at me like, yeah. Or they like, are kind of, I don't know, just, you would think that encourages some kind of discussion, but people usually just dismiss it as, a child's fantasy. Even now when I say it, it's kind of funny. Very few people like ask me, okay, like, oh, well, yeah. So how you gonna do that? What is your design plan? What is your blah 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 blah? Very few people actually, engage me on that obvious discussion point. And I find that kind of weird because a lot of people, think about dreaming big. A lot of people talk about dreaming big and being more than yourself. But when it comes down to it, nobody or very few people actually want to do it. Many people just say, oh, I want to just get to a point in my life where I can just chill. Well, I don't want to ever get to that point in my life. I want to be always doing something greater, better, bigger. Not just because, not because I have some grand scheme of I don't know, attaining a bunch of power and money and all that. Just because I freaking feel like I have a lot of solutions to the problems we have, and I would love the ability to solve problems, to solve all these complex problems in a way that is positive, in a way that is reproducible and shareable, in a way that distributes the wealth between people, between everybody, in a way that doesn't create more problems down the line. I feel like a lot of the ways that in which we've created progress up to now has been exclusive, mutually exclusive, has been only really profitable for people, or what has only been positive for the people that's already at the top, and it has by chance increased the living standards of people at the bottom. And I find that messed up because we're not viewing, I don't think that's viewing progress the right way. That's viewing progress backwards. That's saying, sell to the rich, make the rich richer, and the poor will, they'll be better by chance. It'll be a trickle down effect. People talk about that a lot. It's a trickle down effect. It's not a good thing to go into economics with. It's not a good thing to go into the idea of changing the world with. It's not a good idea or concept or what's the term? Principle to go in the concept of I'm going to make something big, because then you're not thinking about how to actually make the thing big. You're thinking about how to make yourself big. But they always say that those who you never make it to the top by yourself. Basically, you only do so with friends, with other people. And what they say, what's even better is that everybody knows that in an economy where more people are wealthy, where more people are successful, where more people have things to spend, that economy is far, far more powerful, far more wealthy overall, and more healthy than an economy where there is a rich versus poor mentality, where there is a high class and a low class, where there is no middle class. That's a third world economy. Because the two then fight for each other. And eventually the lower class will get so fed up with their disadvantages that they will revolt. There will be a revolution, and then the whole thing comes crashing down. This is a backwards way of thinking because it doesn't actually create a better world for all of us to live in. It creates a progressively more complex, progressively more predator, prey-type world, a progressively more dangerous world to live in. where you have to actually worry about who's behind your back. You actually have to worry about who's out there trying to get you, who's out there trying to take all your money, or who's out there trying to steal your money. If there's poor people over there trying to mess with you, trying to take your stuff, or if there's rich people over there trying to take advantage of you, you have to worry about all of these things because people don't think about how to create a better world. They think about how to create their own better selves, how to make themselves be better, how to get their own power, how to centralize, how to gather more power, more wealth, more influence. But this is a backwards way of thinking. And it is not a wealthy way of thinking. Because what's more wealthy that I believe is a way to create wealth in others, to build wealth in others. And in doing so, you create even more for yourself. How about thinking about how to help others grow wealthy and help you grow even more wealthy by chance? It's not that you're prioritizing somebody else over yourself, because we all kind of, we have to make sure that we're healthy. We have to make sure that we're well enough to help others before we can even help them. Like in an airplane, it's better, you have to put on your own mask before you can put on somebody else's, because then if you die, then you're both dead. It's about being kind and being generous, being magnanimous, being actually genuine enough about humanity and about mutual progress that we can actually help each other. And I believe, because I have this mentality growing up, where I always had to, look after my siblings, I always had to look after my parents. I have a big family, I always have to look after them. And I grew up with this mindset. I've also read tons and tons of books. Mostly fiction. And that afforded me a different type of mindset that many people go into life and economics and wealth building than other people, realize. I've not to say it's weird whenever I talk about myself, about my skills, about my certifications or whatever, why I believe I can and should and will be, big, be a trillionaire or whatever. I feel weird talking about myself because, I don't know, I just don't feel worthy. I don't feel like I can or should, talk about why I want to be big. It's a weird conundrum. And I don't really think myself to be above others or anything like that. I don't think myself to be smarter or more capable than any others. It's just that my specific skill set, my specific passions is in doing big things, is in thinking big, thinking different. And I find that people kind of, whenever I say that my skill is thinking big, people are like, oh, so I can't think big? Skills are not mutually exclusive. Just because Michael Jordan is a great basketball player doesn't mean that you're automatically not a great basketball player. And furthermore, because I work at it, because Michael Jordan works at, being the best basketball player ever, training like, hours, freaking dozens of hours a day. Dozens, there's only 2 dozen hours in a day, but whatever. Because he trains incessantly all the time. So he builds on top of his talent. He will be the best. He is the best. And I want to be the same type of best. I constantly practice at ideating more. At every day I practice, our tutor's method of writing down 10 new ideas a day. At least 10 new ideas a day. Every day I think about things. I think about these problems that we have today and how we might be able to achieve it. I think about it over and over and over again, and then I rethink those thoughts, and then I meta-think over why I had those thoughts and where they came from. I practice every single day, and I want to share, my journey. I want to share my process. I want to share how I will become what I want to become, because then this will be one of the first occasions where somebody not only predicts where there will be, but documents it, such that other people might even be able to follow in their footsteps, and then create their own footsteps rather, based off of that. Because a lot of times we hear about, how Jim Carrey or Octavia Butler or Steve Jobs or somebody wrote down like checks to themselves in the future. They wrote down a check of $10 million or whatever of themselves in the future. How they predicted that they will be here and doing this and that 10 years before it happened. Or how they always thought themselves to be more and bigger and better than where they were at that moment. But we don't really ever hear how they got there. And so it seems instantaneous. It seems like magic. It seems like we look back on it and say, oh, they knew they was going to be big. Oh, this is only for a specific person. This is only that type of person. Not everybody can do this. We dismiss it as something, as a myth, as a legend, as a I don't know, something that just doesn't. It's not possible for the average person. But we failed to realize that the average person is non-existent. There is no average person. It is a collection of individuals in which we take the mean of all of them. We count up all these different measurements and metrics and ideas and whatever, and we try to figure out what the average is, and then we say that's the average person. But there is no average person. It's just a math term. And we're using these math terms for literal connotations. Even though I'm using these so-called big words, you hear me stumbling around with my pronunciations and my thought processes, and that is what I want to document. That growth, this growth of me, pushing through my thoughts, pushing through my struggles, pushing through what I want to do is what I want to document, and what I want to show people how the whole process of being great is about. It's a daily battle. It's a daily fight. You see, I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, it's a daily thing. It's a daily grind to always want the best for yourself and to do it. And so that's what I want to do with these podcasts. These couple of episodes will talk more about my journey and my why and how I will document all of this. But yes, that's my intent, is to help others realize, the process of becoming great is a long process. It is an arduous process, but it's a journey. It's an adventure. It's a quest. In the world of the infinite game, you get to have fun. You get to have fun fighting the bad guys and running over those obstacles and destroying whatever is in your way to accomplish what you want to accomplish, to be the type of person you want to be. And what's even better is that there is no end game. There is no point where you say, oh, it's boring now. There's nothing to do. You can always do more. And that's what I want to show. That's what I want to show people. I'm going to be a trillionaire, not because I want to amass a bunch of wealth. I want to take a bunch of money and do whatever, spend on Bugattis and this, that, and the other. Even though Bugattis are awesome, I have it on my wall. But no, I want to be a trillionaire because I will always be doing more. I'm already at the end here, and I didn't even talk about really what I want to do as a trillionaire. So I'll talk about that in the next episode. But yes, it's all about documenting your journey, because life is a journey. Life is an infinite game, and I'm going to show people what it's like on the path to being a trillionaire, on the path to achieving goals that are so big that it literally scares me every single time I think about it. Every single time I think about what I want to accomplish, I get scared. I'm like, whoa, what the hell am I thinking? How the F am I going to ever do this? How, Sway, how? But I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out a way. I'm going to climb this impossible mountain. These impossibly steep mountains. I'm going to do it somehow, some way. And it's all going to be done in my lifetime. And you're going to see it happen. And then you'll be able to show people what it's like on this path and how to do it yourself. So thank you for listening to this mumbling episode of Thoughts of a Trillionaire. Bye-bye.